Hey everyone, just wanted to bring you some updated information on the new coming soon status for this week's Broker Minute. We've gone over this a handful of times before, and I want to make sure we just have a concise description of what the new rules are for the MLS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump right onto the document that the MLS sent out, go through that. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. So what does the new coming soon status program look like and what does it mean? So basically, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, there's a new listing entry deadline. Before, once you signed your your listing agreement, there was no deadline for you to put it in the MLS. That has now changed. If you sign a listing agreement, you do have to have the listing into the MLS within 7 days of the active listing. So if you dated the listing to begin today, it would be 7 days from today. If you dated it to begin September 1, it would be 7 days from then, because that's when the valid listing agreement begins. During that time, you cannot do any public marketing or anything like that. The moment that you do, it does have to go into the MLS within 1 business day, similar to, or exactly like it was before with the clear cooperation rule. What has been added is a coming soon status. This is a new status that allows no showings, and it can be in the MLS, and you can have it in there for 7 days. What this allows you to do is if you do start to market it publicly, you can then put it in the MLS within that 1 business day, and then at that point, you can hold the showings, keep it in coming soon status for an additional 7 days. Now, just a quick reminder, this doesn't mean you have automatically 7 days and then another 7 days. So if I sign a listing agreement today, it is the 24th. I have to have that into the MLS, at least in the coming soon status, by 7 days from now. Now, if I go out and I publicly market it tomorrow, that triggers clear cooperation and it has to go into the MLS, can still be in coming soon status. And at that point, it goes into the MLS and you still have an additional 7 days before you actually have to show it. So just keep in mind, this does not overrule the clear cooperation rule from NAR. Then there's the showing ability. The listing must be available to show once it moves to active. Once it moves to active from coming soon, you have to have it able to show. In the event that there's any reason that the seller cannot show the home for any more than 7 calendar days, then it should be moved to temporarily off the market. So again, quick recap, you have to have the listing within the MLS within 7 days. Once you put it in the MLS, you have the option for coming soon status, which means you have an additional 7 days to have it in the MLS without showings. And then after it becomes active, it does have to be active for showings. If you are going to move it to unavailable for showings for any more than 7 days, at that point you have to move it to temporarily off the market. So the change in policies, basically what this is, the listing entry deadline. Listings are due in the MLS within 7 calendar days from the valid listing agreement date or within 1 business day from public marketing, whichever is sooner. The valid listing agreement date is the date that is stated in the terms of the listing agreements, not necessarily the day it was signed. Choice of status on entry. You have to enter the MLS within 7 days. Then you can put it in as coming soon, no showings. You cannot show it under any circumstances when it is in that in the coming soon status. And then after that, it moves to active. You do not have to use the full 7 days on either one of them. Those are a maximum days that you have to have on. This does not change any of the South Carolina laws. You must have a valid South Carolina listing agreement, and you have to have written approval from the seller to use this status, which basically could be put into the listing agreement. And then the MLS policy change, which we talked about, which is showings available upon active status. Once it moves to active status, it has to be able to be shown within right away. And if you are going to go into any situation where the seller can't show it for any more than 7 days, it has to go into temporarily off the market. Last part, in the MLS listing input, you complete your agreement. It's due in the MLS within 7 days. If it goes straight to active status, you enter in the MLS within the 7 days and it goes to showings. Data is shared. Everything goes out to IDX. Everything is just like a normal listing. If you go to coming soon and no showings, it is entered into the property. You can publicly market it. However, it does not go out. And in the IDX, any syndication subscriptions or that, this is simply a place to park it should you do any public marketing before it's available to be shown. And then once you put once you pre-entered the listing in the coming soon status, it will move to active within those 7 days. So just be mindful of that. So from agreement to the MLS, the maximum of 14 calendar days as it relates from agreement to active in the MLS, not in coming soon status. Couple things to keep in mind. If you do want to actively show the property before it goes into the MLS because you have clients, or because Keller Williams have clients, keep in mind, if you don't have a listing agreement because you post-dated it, you will then need at that point to have an exclusive brokerage listing and send in all the paperwork on that to the MLS. That will be on the next Broker Minute that will come out later this week. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day. Take care.